Excellent performance. Quick look at the board in the 6th frame. Down by 12. It's a serious match play now.
Sure is. Sandra Jo with that solid 8-pin in the 2nd frame. That would have been a lot more.
She'd have led by at least 22.
Diana again looking at her notes. She struck last time on lane 25. You can tell she's really into her own game. She's definitely not concerned with what Sandra Jo was doing.
More swing on the left-hand lane, and the worst break of the entire week.
I'd like to see the pin action on that shot, because that 4-pin just spun. Let's take a look at exactly the line she took. Again, run around the 12th board, going out to around 8, making a nice break back. Half 10 maybe, 5-pin going directly back, 4-pin just spinning around. Just the head pin.
Head pin came back and stopped it. You imagine that? 2-pin ticked it, head pin came back.
And now we have to wait for the rack to reset the 410. And you can see there when a machine knocks down a pin, that pin needs to be reset. That was not the 7-pin.
No, 7-pin was reset. They got to reset the 4. That's the pin that was up.
That's right.
I have not seen that in the 7 years that I've been working all 3 tours on ESPN. Terrible, terrible break. Worst case scenario, she should have had just the 10-pin.
Exactly. Not the 4.
And that's exactly what Diana is thinking to herself. How in the world can this happen to me on that kind of a shot in a title match when I bowled so well? A break or two here or there makes the difference in a championship game, and the breaks right now going to Sandra Jo.
It sure does. I was talking to Curtis Odom, who was here earlier, mentioning Sandra Jo's game and how the breaks at times went the other way for her when she was on a telecast.
Time to forget that now and try and make the 410. Got to try and max it out. She did. Oh, just left of the 4-pin. Game effort by Diana Teeters, who really was in a must-make situation.
She really had to give it a try there, Denny. So many times we talk about pin count and how critical, you know, each pin is, and you should get it all. But right now in the 7th frame, when you're trailing by 26 pins, you have to go for it.
Especially trailing to an opponent that's going to do nothing but pound the pocket.
And one who comes up a little high trips out the 4.
But when the ball is rolling end over end, you can throw the ball a little higher. It's going to trip out the 4. It's not cutting left through the pins.
She does not have to worry about hitting the dry and having the ball really break sharply.
Another note. Oh, one thing. I know what I'd be writing down concerning the head pin on the left-hand lane.
Sandra Jo shooting 804 in her final round of match play last night. Shot 290, 214, and 300.
4 trips out, and thankfully so, as the 6 and the 10 remained on the left-hand lane.
Sandra Jo getting a real big break here, as she could have had 4, 6, 7, 10 standing. Just the ball tugged it inside, head pin. She had all 4 standing at one time, but the head pin came out, tripped out the 7, took out the 4. Thank you.
For a moment, disaster was lurking on the left-hand lane. Tremendous spare shooter as well. She does not miss many.
Well, we talked about who hooks it in and who goes straighter at, and then Sandra Jo's game, she does not really need to go to a different ball for spare on this type of condition, and she's very accurate.
Forget the 7th and strike here in the 8th. 214 a possibility for Diana, but she needs them all. Better shot. Right-hand lane, I think, has changed just a little bit.
So many times what you'll see in a synthetic house, Denny, the conditioner carrying down a little bit, the lane's tightening up, not really breaking down, or when I talk about breaking down, I mean the conditioner evaporating, making them drier. So if the conditioner is carrying down the lane, it's going to cause the ball to delay its hook to the pocket. In that case, you usually move everything a little bit right.
Thinking maybe if she moves like Are you talking about target and feet or just the feet? It's hard to say.
It's hard to say on this. When you've got a lot of wet in the middle and you still got the dry getting drier outside, you want to try to move maybe parallel again. Move a board or two right with your feet. Maybe target a little longer down the lane out farther in the dry area.
I'd venture to say she probably has moved a little bit, but it just hasn't been quite enough. She hasn't missed by much, but you're right. It's just a hair of a hang spot on 26, and that's been the difference.
I bet if we took a look at her notes, I'd guarantee you she has been moving, because with all the notes she was taking in the first 2 games, she was targeting the half boards.
Now, if she strikes out just 204, she'll have to wait for Sandra Jo.
She'll have to hope Sandra Jo throws an open, because right now Sandra Jo is shooting a 2-team pace.
Was high on the last shot in the 8th frame. And certainly now she knows a couple of marks and she's a winner. So do you think she'll get a little conservative here?
I think she'll get a little aggressive here.
One thing's for sure, you don't want to let up on the speed at this point in time. You can make those spares, but those splits are tough to talk to.
Looks good. Oh, 6-pin sitting in the channel.
See, that's just the kind of shot I would have anticipated. Making sure that the ball does not go high. Let me hit the pocket. Let me shoot the 10-pin and go to the 10th frame.
We'll take a look. Again, maybe a little more speed. So the ball doesn't quite have enough time to break real hard in the pocket. It was close.
What she's doing now is just aiming at the middle of the fairway. She's taking the bunkers and the water out of play. And par right now is a great score for her. No opens, and she's a winner. The best Diana can shoot is 204.
And Sandra Jo, looking at the scoreboard, shakes her head, realizes what she needs, 9 pins to shut out Diana.
For a title. Oh my, she threw the ball hard, lots of speed, open frame, and this one is not over yet.
No, it is not.
Oh my.
She threw the ball hard with lots of speed, Denny, but she really did pull it inside of target. Watch this ball hitting center of the head pin. Again, almost had the big four standing. This time she did not get the break, have the pins trip out. She's going to have to go for it, cannot get it over. And that, too, is critical. Right now, Diana needs 2 strikes and 9 pins to win.
Everything you ever ask for out here on the national tour in a championship game, especially when you're behind. Give me any chance at all to step up in the 10th and get the job done. Let's see if she can make the adjustment on 26.
Got it out to the dry. Oh,
good shot by Diana Teeters. And you would hate to see a top seed lose a championship in the 10th frame. Diana with a game effort, but Sandra Jo Shiery wins for the 4th time. And it didn't come easy here this evening at Country Club Lanes in Volta.